I wonder how many women have looked around at their life and quietly thought, I thought I'd be happier. Not because your life is bad. Maybe you're grateful. Maybe you have a family you love. Maybe you've built a career you love. Maybe people look at your life and think, she has it all together. But there's this little voice that whispers, is this all there is? And then comes the guilt because you think, I shouldn't feel this way. I have so much to be thankful for. So you don't say it out loud, right? You keep it inside, you carry it. If you've ever felt that, stay with me because I think it's time we had a conversation women rarely give themselves permission to have. Hey friends, welcome back to Real Talk with DJ. If you're new here, I'm so glad you're here. This is where we have honest conversations about rebuilding your life, rediscovering yourself, and creating a life you truly love from the inside out. So grab your coffee, get comfortable, and let's have some real talk. You know, I've been thinking about that feeling a lot lately. Not because someone asked me about it, because I caught myself feeling it, right? There are moments when I look at myself and I think, this isn't what I expected. Not in a bad way, just in a different way, right? I'm sure you have felt it also, right? When I was 25, I had this picture in my mind of what life would look like, right? I thought by this age, I'd have everything figured out, right? I thought confidence would come naturally. I thought I'd stop questioning myself. I thought I'd finally feel like I've arrived. But life doesn't really work that way, does it? Life has a way of surprising us, sometimes in beautiful ways, sometimes in heartbreaking ways, right? And sometimes it's quietly changes us. Not all at once, but little by little, one responsibility at a time, one disappointment at a time, one season at a time, until one day you wake up and you realize you've been taking care of everyone else's life without asking yourself, how am I really doing? I think a lot of women live there, right? Not because they're unhappy, but because they're disconnected. Disconnected from the women they used to be, disconnected from the dreams they once had, disconnected from themselves. And here's what really breaks my heart. Most women think they're the only one. They think, what's wrong with me? Why can't I just be happy? Can I tell you guys something? I don't think there's anything wrong with you. I think you've been surviving. There's a difference, right? When you're surviving, you stop asking yourself, what brings you joy? You stop dreaming. You stop noticing what you need because survival doesn't leave much room for that, right? And before you know it, years have gone by. Oh, I remember talking with a woman not too long ago. Someone asked her, what do you like to do for fun? She laughed and then she got really quiet. And finally she said, honestly, I don't even know anymore. That really stayed with me, not because it was shocking, but because I think so many women would answer the exact same way. Maybe that's you. Maybe somewhere between work, raising kids, taking care of your parents, building a career, paying your bills, showing up for everyone else, you slowly stop showing up for yourself. Not on purpose, right? Life just got busy. And then one day you looked in the mirror and wondered where you went. Can I tell you what I've been learning? Finding yourself again doesn't always start with a huge life change. Sometimes it starts with one honest conversation, one quiet moment, one decision that stop pretending you're fine, one choice to ask yourself, what do I need? Not what everyone else needs, right? But what do you need? Maybe that's why this conversation matters so much, because I don't want you to spend another year believing you've missed your chance, or believing it's too late, or believing you've become invisible, because I don't think any of those things are true. I think the woman you've been missing is still there. She hasn't disappeared. She's just been taking care of everyone else for a very long time. And maybe, just maybe, it's time someone took care of her. Before we end today, I want to ask you one question. If someone walked up to you today and asked you, what brings you joy? What would you say? And if you don't know, don't judge yourself. Just sit with that question for a while. Maybe this week, your only assignment is to remember one thing that used to make you feel alive. Not because you have to become that woman again, but because she still has something to teach you. Maybe you haven't lost yourself. Maybe you've just spent so long taking care of everyone else that you've forgotten how to listen to your own heart. And if that's where you are today, I want you to know something. You are not behind. You are not broken. And let me tell you, it's not too late. Sometimes the most beautiful chapters of our lives begin the moment we stop asking, what's wrong with me? And start asking, what do I need? If this conversation felt like we were sitting across from each other with a cup of coffee, that's exactly why I created Elevate Your Path Academy. Not because women need another course, but because I believe we all need a place where we can have an honest conversation, encourage one another, and remember who we are together. If you're looking for that kind of community, I would love to welcome you. The link is in the descriptions below. All right, my friends, thank you for spending time with me. If this conversation resonated with you, would you do me a favor, please? Subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share it with one woman who might be quietly carrying the same feelings. You never know, right? One conversation can remind someone they're not alone. All right, my peeps, until next Tuesday, take care of yourself. And remember, maybe the woman you've been looking for has been inside you all along. All right, that's it for today. Take what landed, leave what didn't, and I'll see you in the next Real Talk with DJ. Peace and love, my peeps.